Hello, my name is Madeline, and these are my friends Sydney and Brody, who's lucky to be here from Spain. So let's get started. Green Rating has a way to bring awareness to consumers, and as studies have proven, when consumers are aware of the negative effects of single-use plastics, they will make the best decision in terms of eco-friendliness.
So when we began our project, we knew that we had to assess the original problem, and the original problem is the fact that the plastic reduction policies that are in place currently are not being used and implemented. And the fact that people only seem to care when we're in a social, environmental crisis.
So we decided to look deeper into these problems, and we found out that the two biggest problems are, first one, we asked the people to think too much. We asked them to make research, and we know that that's something that they don't like to do. Second one, we asked them to make a big effort to change their routine, which is something that, again, they don't like to do. Now that we knew why these policies weren't working, we decided to do something that we would like to call the study of the enemy. We studied the plastic production, and thanks to our working data and Plastic Europe, we were able to graph the world plastic production. We found out two interesting facts. First one, and second one, two interesting facts. The only two times in which the plastic production has decreased was in the 70s and in 2008, both of them with an economic crisis. After that, we decided to look for the basic of economics, which was supply represented by the businesses and demand represented by the people.
So these photos are all from our original brainstorming sessions. So when we began brainstorming, we had hundreds of ideas, but we knew that we had to refine and specify exactly what we wanted to work on. The entire time we were brainstorming, we made sure to keep in mind that we knew our target was going to be consumers and the businesses, and that's when we came up with our initial idea, which was a rating system. So these photos are our original rough drafts of what we wanted our rating system to look like. And then at the bottom there, that's our first logo that we had created through our project. And then after that, we put that logo out to businesses and consumers, and we asked them for feedback. And we were told that it's too simple and that it didn't explain the problem and what we were rating them on. So the one on the right is our final prototype, which explains exactly what we're rating, what their grade is, and what sections and what we want them to know that is important to us.
Thanks to some research that we did, we were able to find out that these type of policies are already being implemented, but with different things. The one that you can see in the top and the one that you can see below are stickers that are being used to rate the cars and other appliances. Now that we knew this, we knew that we were in the right path to have a solution. Thanks to CICERO, which is the Center for International Climate Research, we found out that this type of policies work almost 100% of the time. Thanks to some more research, we find out that the UN is trying to implement something that they like to call vote with your money. This is the idea that whatever you buy is whatever you are supporting.
So our policy is called Green Rating, and essentially it is a rubric and checklist that we've made up in which we will take with us to go into businesses and rate them, and then come out with a grade which they will display that is their overall green rating.
So when we came in, we handed the judges both a rubric and a checklist. So on those rubrics and the checklist, we have exactly what we're looking for when we go in to rate a business. So for the rubric, it shows exactly what we are looking for when they get a 5, a 4, a 3, 2, or 1, or a 0 in each section. And since this project is based off of the fact that we want to reduce single-use plastics make up 40% of their mark, and the rest of the categories make up 20% of their mark. And then the checklist has really key things that us as youth and as consumers, we are looking for when we go into a business that makes them eco-friendly for us.
So our overall goal is to encourage businesses to improve their green rating for the better of our society. And we have reached out to an expert in Spain, Marc Pejo, who's in affiliation with Nike and Adidas. And we have rated Sabah Cafe and Bistro in Fort Langley, and we're so excited to be moving forward with them. We've also started a petition on change.org that has over 300 signatures so far. And we're super excited to have our society and our community behind us, supporting us in this idea so that in the future, we could pass a bill that makes it a requirement that businesses display their green rating to all consumers.
So we want to come back to the idea of how we solve the problem. We solve the problem basically doing two things. First one, we eliminate the problem of thinking, since we don't ask the people to think anymore. Second one, we minimize the effort that the people has to do, since we oversimplify all the information and we put it right in front of their faces. Now, what we are hoping is that these policies start making a change in the population, and the population will not just be aware, but also demand to the businesses to be aware of what is happening.
So the big question we want to leave you here today is, what will be our legacy? Will we be sorry that we were too caught up in our own doings to do something? Or will we work together to collaborate and make a change? My name is Madeline.
My name is Brody.
I'm Sydney, and we're GreenRating.
There. My name is Catriona. I work with Foresight. Thank you. Excellent presentation, clear articulation of the idea and the value. I have some questions about your target audience. So there is quite a number of sustainability certifications on the market for like hotels and restaurants and things like that. And they do, to some extent, talk about maybe packaging or maybe where you source your paper from or where you source your food from, is it X, Y, Z? Who do you think, in your research, who are the businesses that you think use a lot of plastic, and who could really benefit from this?
Okay, so that's an excellent question. The question, if you guys didn't hear, is what is our main target, and what businesses use the most plastic, and do we think could benefit from this idea the most? And I'm gonna get Rody to answer that question for you.
Well, basically, the businesses that use more plastic so far are, for example, businesses from China that are producing, let's say, products that are not really important, or in some way they don't have a good quality. So they're just a simple use name. And the second question, basically what we try to target is the businesses, because we realize that since the people are already aware, the problem has to be somewhere else, and that's the businesses. And by doing that, we also encourage them to change and to start applying awareness policies.
Hi, I'm Adrian with Plastic Oceans. Thanks for your presentation. It's amazing to see. I just do want to back up what Catriona was saying. Catriona, right? Catriona, it's a hard one. Saying there are a lot of certifications out there, and I think identifying who your target is, and I like your answer, but at the same time, what if you pivoted towards more food and beverage? Cafes. I know Responsible Cafes in Australia was really successful, working directly on cafes that provided a solution. It might be a stepping point. It might not be your end goal, but approaching businesses that are producing waste plastics in China might not be within our reach today from Langley, you know? It's just, I think it's more of a suggestion. Let's start out here in the community and something that people will see and it can kind of grow. And then as you fine tune all those different things. And then the actual question is, what do you have for like an award system on when people are providing alternatives instead of just minimization? But is there a plus value where they've gotten their awards for doing all these right steps, and then almost like an above award for providing solutions or alternatives that actually tackle the issue?
Okay, so the questions, if you guys didn't hear, was the reward, the above reward for, the
Solutions or alternatives?
the solutions are all alternatives. And I will pass that one over to Sydney.
So for our rating system, if people are just minimizing the amount of plastic they use, they're not going to get the highest rating possible. Our base rating for like basing off like just they're a good business, like they're trying, is like a solid B+, A-. In order for you to get the high rating, you have to be offering alternatives in order to get the highest rating that we do have, which is an A++, which is a dark green color, which is also part of our logo, which is the goal that we hope to see on every business, is that dark green color eventually. So yeah, in order for them, if they are offering alternatives, they will get a higher rating. Yeah.
And I'll just add to that just as consumers, like when you go into a cafe and you know that it's super eco-friendly, it feels good. You enjoy spending your money there and you feel good about what you're buying. And so we're looking to benefit the businesses because if they can display that they have a great green rating, it will benefit them and more people will want to come and spend their money there.
Thank you for that. My name is Alex. I'm the curator of a couple of galleries at Science World. The Our World Sustainability Gallery and the Ken Spencer Science Park, Outdoor Science Park. Thank you for your presentation, that was really great. My question, specifically about your kind of rubric that you have, so it sounds like from what you've told us in those last couple of answers that right now it's pretty targeted towards like those kind of everyday retail places that you visit, places like cafes, maybe somewhere you're going to pick up something that you need, a grocery store or something. How kind of flexible do you think you'd need to be with your rubric to accommodate kind of other businesses that have different needs that aren't necessarily the kind of direct to consumer businesses?
Yeah. Okay, so the question, if you guys didn't hear, was how flexible can we be with our rubric? So even though right now it kind of sounds like our main target is like cafes and more like everyday businesses, but how flexible will we be with other businesses whose requirements might not be the same as the standard ones? And I will pass that one over to Sydney again.
So for that, we have on our checklist, so our rubric isn't as inclusive yet because we haven't refined it because we made the rubric initially and then we made our checklist. So our checklist has really key things that could be implemented in not just everyday retail offices. We also have like things that could be implemented in schools and like work offices, business, like just normal businesses, such as like do they use refillable pens, what type of light bulbs. So it's not just retail and cafes that we're trying to target. We also do have some key points on our checklist that are targeting just normal everyday businesses as well.
Yeah, and just to add to that, the more that we rate businesses, I think the more that we're going to edit our rubric and our checklist and really like change things just as we go and as we grow a little bit.
Sounds great, thank you.
Thank you guys.